The insurance industry says it's not yet clear whether those people whose travel plans have been disrupted today will get compensation. So what is the situation for passengers? Let's talk to David Williams, who's Director of Claims at AXA Insurance. Just clarify for us, what are the rights for passengers? Will they lose their money?
Hopefully people won't lose money, because if they speak to the travel operator or the airline, they will either get a refund or they'll be able to reschedule their holidays. The problem is, however, that most insurance policies have a terrorism exclusion, and if they just don't fancy travelling on a different date or there's some other complication, then it could well be that they've got no cover.
Well, that's not really a good solution, is it, if they're excluding terrorism, because it's a unique situation if you've got a terror plot that's been foiled. Shouldn't they start taking this into account?
Yeah, and that's what tends to happen. Whilst there's an exclusion in the policy, when we have an incident like this, part of the reason for the lack of clarity is that the insurance industry does try and respond favourably. But what happens is there are elements of cover which people are prepared to pick up, and elements of cover, sort of disinclination to travel as we would call it, that just will probably never be covered.
You are part of the insurance industry. Why don't you do something about it?
Well, we're already talking about it. If you look at household insurance, that originally had a terrorism exclusion. It doesn't now, so the cover's been brought in. The big problem is that if you include wider cover, clearly somebody has to decide on the price, and it can cost more for the consumer.
But for passengers who've been stranded at Heathrow Airport, families, people not sure if they should be travelling, do you think that's a good enough answer for them?
I think they should have had made clear to them what they were purchasing. As I say, hopefully they won't actually suffer financially, and it will simply be delay and inconvenience, but I do agree it's something we need to discuss more.
Well, let's hope so indeed. David Williams, thank you very much indeed. In a moment we'll bring you the latest travel news, but first let's get a check on the weather now with Peter Cockcroft, who's up on the roof.